Applied Psychology, Personal Space by Robert Sommer. Glossary: Individual distance, the amount of space between organisms and their conspecifics. Personal space, the emotionally tinged zone around the human body that people feel is their space. Proxemics, a term introduced by Edward Hall for the study of spatial relationships. Hall identified four interaction zones: intimate, personal, social, and public distance. Territory, a fixed geographical space marked and defended by an organism and used for life sustaining activities. Because the concept of personal space originated in ethology, some of the most promising theories to explain why humans maintain predictable distances from one another employ a Darwinian framework. Researchers have investigated differences in interpersonal spacing associated with culture, gender, age, personality factors, and situation. Applications of the concept are found in design, communications, and legal cases. Personal space concept. The term personal space was introduced into the social psychological literature to describe the emotionally tinged zone around the human body that people feel is their space. It has been described among using analogies to a soap bubble, a snail shell, and an aura around the human body. The dimensions are not fixed but rather vary according to internal state, age, culture, and context. The concept has its roots in animal studies, particularly the work of ethologists and zoologists, because most animals in the wild maintain defined distances from conspecifics, and these distances are influenced by an animal's age, size, gender, social rank, and other factors. Measurement of personal space. Methods of measuring personal space in human interactions include both field studies and laboratory simulations. A favorite laboratory technique is the invasion, which produces tension reducing responses such as gaze aversion and withdrawal. In the stop distance technique, a researcher approaches the participant who tells the researcher to stop when he or she comes uncomfortably close. In the approach distance technique, the participant is asked to move toward another person and to stop at a comfortable interaction distance. In figure placement tests, the participant places mannequins, dolls, or other human surrogates in various social arrangements, such as having a conversation. Other measurement techniques include questionnaires and physiological recording. Figure 1: Field observation of seating in a college library. Figure 2: Laboratory simulation of a space station environment. Research findings: interpersonal distance is decreased by similarity between participants, acquaintanceship, attraction, cooperation, and cohesion. It is increased by threat, anxiety, stigma, smoking, and mental disorder. Children have smaller interaction distances than do adults. Female pairs generally sit and stand closer than do male pairs, and people from Latin cultures use smaller interaction distances than do people from Anglo Saxon backgrounds. Applications: environmental variables such as noise, crowding, and room size affect interaction distance. Applications: there is a flourishing research literature on interpersonal spacing in human services fields such as social work, nursing, counseling, and family therapy. Guidebooks and self help books describe appropriate spacing in various interpersonal encounters. Some books dealing with sales, management, and dating specifically recommend the aggressive appropriation of space as a form of impression management. As personal space enters the popular culture, airlines advertise more of it in their seating. Residents of homeless shelters complain that they have too little of it, and corporate training manuals warn employees to respect each other's personal space to protect the company against lawsuits. Design and architecture. The personal space concept has been applied in the design of offices, stores, banks, and other building types, but its greatest applicability is in mass transit and institutional settings with fixed seating and little opportunity for personal mobility. The US Space Agency, the National Aeronautical and Space Administration, used the results of personal space research to improve habitability in the space station. Communication skills. Diplomats and corporate executives being posted to different cultures are taught about the different ways in which people around the globe use space and time. These ideas have also been applied to interactions between salespeople and customers, police interrogations, nurse patient, therapist and client relationship, and interactions among family members. Legal uses. In the United States, the concept has had nearly as much application in the courtroom as in design. It has figured prominently in lawsuits on prison crowding and become a pivotal issue in cases of sexual harassment, as unwanted closeness was interpreted as a form of harassment toward individuals who lacked power. Judges have used the concept in establishing no intrusion zones between protesters and their adversaries. In high profile trials, space consultants advise lawyers during jury selection, a time when potential jurors are being screened by both the prosecution and the defense of signs of bias. Nonverbal behaviors such as posture, gesture, and interpersonal distance are observed as potential jurors respond to lawyers' questions.